Hello everyone and welcome to my podcast Raw in Wonderland. I'm so happy you're here with me. Today, I want to take you on a little trip to the charming town of Avonlea, where we'll meet one of the most beloved literary characters of all time, Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. Anne has been a kindred spirit for readers around the world for over a century. She's curious, imaginative, fiercely independent, and always stays true to herself. But her story is about more than just a red-haired orphan girl with a wild imagination. It's about finding joy in the ordinary, embracing our unique quirks, and believing that life is full of endless possibilities. If you've read the books or seen the adaptations, you already know how special Anne is. But if you haven't, don't worry. I'll give you a quick summary to get us all on the same page before diving into the lessons Anne can teach us about life. Anne of Green Gables is a classic novel by Lucy Maud Montgomery, published in 1908. It tells the story of Anne Shirley, an orphaned girl mistakenly sent to live with Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert, a brother and sister who were expecting to adopt a boy to help with their farm in Avonlea. Anne quickly charms her way into their hearts with her vivid imagination, endless chatter, and deep love for nature. Though she gets into trouble from time to time, often because of her impulsiveness and dramatic tendencies, Anne's resilience, kindness, and curiosity transform not only her life but the entire town of Avonlea. Anne's story is about growing up, finding belonging, and learning that our differences are often our greatest strengths. Here are 5 key lessons from Anne of Green Gables. First one, embrace your imagination. Anne reminds me to never lose my sense of wonder. She finds magic in the everyday, whether it's naming trees and flowers, watching the sunset, or imagining grand adventures. In my own life, I try to keep that same curiosity alive. Even something as simple as a walk by the sea or sitting with a cup of coffee can feel magical if I slow down and look at the world through Anne's eyes. Anne teaches us that imagination isn't just for children. It's a way of bringing beauty, joy, and creativity in our daily lives. 2. Be resilient in the face of challenges. Anne faces so many hardships, losing her parents, being rejected by society for her differences, and struggling to fit in. But what makes her story inspiring is her resilience. I ask myself, how do I respond to challenges? Am I focusing too much on what I lack or what went wrong? Anne's story reminds me that resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about choosing to keep going, to stay hopeful, and to believe that brighter days are ahead. 3. Find joy in the ordinary. One of my favorite quotes from Anne is, "Isn't it splendid to think of all the things there are to find out about? It just makes me feel glad to be alive. It's such an interesting world." And shows us that life doesn't need to be grand or extraordinary to be beautiful. There is joy in the little things, a kind word, a sunset, a good book, a friendship. I often remind myself to pause and appreciate those small moments. Sometimes joy is simply a quiet morning with a cup of coffee or watching my cat Bella playing in the garden. 4. Be yourself, with quirks and all. Anne is unapologetically herself. She refuses to conform to what society expects of her, even when it makes her stand out. Her red hair, her dramatic flair, her passionate opinions, these are all things that make her unique. This lesson hits home for me. I remind myself that it's okay to be different, to have quirks, to stand out. I don't need to fit into anyone else's mold. I need to be authentically me. And the last lesson. Kindred spirits are everywhere. Anne talks a lot about finding kindred spirits, those people who just get you. She finds her first kindred spirits in Marilla, Matthew, and her best friend Diana Barry. This makes me think about my own kindred spirits. I remind myself that meaningful connections can be found in unexpected places. And just like Anne, I believe in keeping my heart open to those connections. And maybe you, listening to this podcast, are a kindred spirit too. Who knows? So, as I walk away from Avonlea and my chat with Anne, I'm reminding myself to keep that sense of wonder alive, to stay resilient, to find joy in the ordinary, and to always be myself. Anne taught me that life is full of unexpected adventures and that no matter what happens, there's always something beautiful to look forward to. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a little bit Anne's magic in your own life. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and never stop imagining. Bye, guys!